This rig actually only took us 3 months to build.
I kind of dominate this space because I have a lot of musical gear that has to travel with me. It didn't take long to realize that we were absolutely in love with this lifestyle.
I just can't imagine being in my home without all of these things that I treasure so much. Hey guys, we're at the bus fair. We are the Broken Compass Bus. My name is Rayla.
And I'm Tyler.
Come take a tour. Welcome to our kitchen. This is where I do the dishes. We have this sink faucet that can also go outside for an outdoor shower. I also have all of my plants here in my little plant box. I love plants, had to have live ones, so this can also water that. Then we have our uppers, which is great because in the last bus we didn't have space for it. So we have tons of room in here. We have this pantry here. And this was actually pretty cool because it came from an old dresser that we found on Facebook Marketplace. And I just love the look of it. Didn't even have to stain it or anything. We just used pieces, and I'll show you later, but it's in other parts of the bus too. We have some storage up here in my little rock collection. Yeah, we have the butcher block counters. We did this in the last bus too. We just love it. And then we have our propane stovetop. I think the only thing that we would do differently in this bus is probably put an oven in here because we're limited to what we can cook. We just have the stovetop for cooking. Lots of storage in this bus. That's one really good thing. Since this is our second bus, that was our main goal, was to put as much storage as possible. All right, so this is our living space. This is where we spend most of our time hanging out, chilling. This dinette was actually a feature that we added on later. At the beginning of our build, we didn't think we were going to need one, but sure enough, after like 3 months on the road, we decided we needed a workspace and a spot to eat. So added this in. We've actually had this table for 3 years since the beginning of our journey. We started out in an RV that we redid, and we built this out of blue pine, and it's one of my favorite things. All right, so our dinette space actually does fold down into a couch or twin size bed, I guess, for a guest to stay with us. We also have a lot of storage. This is probably the biggest storage space other than under our bed. We really wanted to make sure that we have enough room for my crafting things. Our diesel heater is also housed under here, and it vents this way. So yeah, storage was really important. Up here, we have our open shelving. This was something that we did in our other bus, and we just really liked it. It kept it open and airy, and it gives me a spot to put all of my antiques and decor that I love. Oh, and he loves getting under the table too, as you can see. But yeah, love old books, and I just can't imagine being in my home without all of these things that I treasure so much. So this was a must, and I'm so glad that we did it. Okay, so my love for antiques and junk, as I call it, goes way back. My aunt always had a booth in an antique shop, and I remember those were some of my best memories, is finding really cool pieces and treasures with her. So I've also always had a knack, I guess, for interior decorating. I've done that a lot in the past for people. So that is why it always looks like a little shop in here. It's because I actually have a passion for it. These books, they are all from different places, different antique stores, different bookstores. So I almost remember every single place that I've gotten these. They're just special to me. And I mean, would you really be a bus lifer if your driver's seat wasn't meant for storage too? I don't think so. So this is where we keep Tyler's guitar, my mandolin. But yeah, this always becomes storage. As soon as we put it in park, things go in here. So our nomadic journey kind of began about 5 years ago when we got married, and we were doing just the 9-to-5 everyday thing. And we went on a honeymoon and decided to do a road trip all through like Tennessee, Smoky Mountains, and it was just really pretty. And it kind of like sparked that want to explore more, I guess. And when we got back, it was like all we could think about. After we decided like, okay, this is a possibility, it's the only thing that was on our mind. At the time we were living in an apartment. I mean, it was like $1,000 a month, and then you have all of your other bills, and we just said, okay, let's figure this out. Let's do something different. Let's shake it up.
I applied for a position in Tennessee, and so I was working 5 nights a week at nighttime. So usually we would get off, or I would get off on Saturday morning, and then we would pack up a truck full of snacks and stuff, and we would head to the Smoky Mountains. And we just had like so much fun just doing that one day of tent camping up in the mountains. We had a talk after that, and we said, you know, if we like really cut down our bills, and like, could we make this work? Could we make the whole
like
tiny house thing work full time? Can we do
the road full time? And that's when we started coming across the whole Skoolie community on YouTube and Instagram and everything. And as soon as we saw our first Skoolie, we were like, that looks like that could be for us. That's pretty cool. So we ended up buying one not even a month later.
So we hit the road and lived in the large bus for about a year full time. Traveled the West Coast. We went through New Mexico and Arizona, all the way from California up north to Washington, cut over to Montana, down through Wyoming, and then back home. And so it was a year, but it flew by. We met so many amazing people and just had so many like really deep connections that we eventually, when we decided to sell the bus, we had the very short talk of like, do we continue to do this?
It was like an instant yes.
Yeah, and so it didn't take long to realize that we were absolutely in love with this lifestyle. But one thing that really restricted us was our length. So I remember one example is we were in Cascades National Park, and we wanted to go on this specific road.
It was Glacier.
Oh, it was Glacier. And
yeah, we couldn't even go on Going to the Sun Road, which is like more than 50% of the park is off of that road, and we couldn't go because we were too long.
Yeah. And
it had already been bothering us because it's so hard to find parking, but that was the turning point when we were like, okay, let's go smaller. Let's downgrade on size. So then we ended up selling, which was like the perfect timing, and we were back home in Texas, and this rig actually only took us 3 months to build because we were waking up, working on the bus almost all day long, and then he would play music and I would work at night, sleep, get up, do it again. So we knocked it out in 3 months because we were so ready to get back out on the road. We just love it so much. Okay, so this is our hallway. We have the apartment size retro refrigerator. We had a bigger one in the other bus, but of course we downsized when we moved into this one. So this was the best compromise on space and style for me. Up here we have some more open shelving. This is actually a ton of storage. It goes all the way back. We have our closet here. Hanging space is really important for us because of Tyler's shows, really. That's the only time we dress up and everything. So we don't want wrinkled clothes at his shows. And then going back to the old dresser that we found on Facebook Marketplace and used for the pantry, we used the drawers down here. And then we also have a really cool skylight, which is like it's my second favorite part. My first is, of course, the 2 windows in the front, but this is just really cool. We didn't have this in the other bus, so I just love to let natural light in and look at the stars at night. So, all right, guys. So this piece here, I got it out of my Aunt Regina's antique booth, and it has been one of the most talked about things in the other bus and this bus. I carried almost all of my decor from bus to bus. And I don't think I'll ever get rid of this. Every time we're at a tiny house festival or convention showing the bus, I get about 10 to 15 people trying to buy this from me, and I tell them there's no number. I'm keeping it forever. It's just a really unique piece. Okay, and below that we have an electric heater. This is something you probably don't see very often. It's kind of new. We found it on Amazon. It only uses like 500 peak watts, so it's very efficient. We use our diesel heater to keep it warm in here. We don't really rely on this thing for our heat, but it is a good backup source, and we use it like when we're sleeping. I don't like using the diesel heater, so we get it really, really warm in here and then get in bed and turn this on, and this keeps us super warm all night. I end up having to turn it off. Yeah, we just don't really like using the diesel heater for our main source at night just because it does ignite. That kind of scares me a little bit. And then like if something were to malfunction and we didn't know it, like carbon monoxide or something could come in, and that's just a little dangerous. So that's why we like to use this while we're sleeping and not the diesel heater. All right, guys, welcome to our bathroom. I'm sitting on our DIY compost toilet, so this is where we poop. We decided to go with a DIY again just because we did it in the first bus and we've had really zero issues with it. We just use the wood cedar chips. And then one thing that we've done that a lot of people don't is we have the diverter that actually is plumbed to a tank underneath. And I want to say it's around like 35 gallons, and that is only for urine. So we do not have to worry about that until it's time to dump our gray tank, which is really nice. No pee jug. And then we just have our little storage here. Found it at Goodwill. I love my thrift stores. That's just where we keep all of our toiletries and towels and things. And then this is actually one of my favorite little pieces of decor in the bus. I found it at TJ Maxx and I just thought it matched the theme and it had storage in it, of course, which is a plus. And then, behind me, I actually built this little box this week because for a while we had our tankless hot water heater and it just kind of showed. And I wanted something cleaner. Okay, so this is our shower. This is one of the must-haves in every single rig that we build from here on. I have to have a shower in it, even if it's a tiny bus, I don't care. So this is the shower. We did the accent cedar plank wall just because we wanted this to feel more like a cabin on wheels, I guess. So wood as much as we can, all of the accents, and of course my greenery. We have a 65-gallon freshwater tank and we house that underneath our bed. And then underneath the bus, we have a 45-gallon gray tank. So whenever we were building the shower, we wanted to make sure that there were not going to be any leaks. At the beginning of our other bus, we had an issue with leaks in the shower. We were amateurs back then. So at the very beginning, we put a waterproof paint on the subfloor. And then after that, we put the red guard in here. Anywhere there was going to be water. So here, under the sink, everywhere, we highly recommend the Red Guard waterproofing paint. And then we got the shower pan. This was a really tough spot to do a shower pan. And instead of going the route of making our own, which can also end in leaks because we're not professionals at it, we wanted to find one that fit the space perfect where I can still sit down if I just really want to and shave my legs and stuff. So this one we found on Rec Pro, just online. And this is just from Lowe's, nothing special, but it was just a really simple way to make sure there were not going to be any leaks.
So a full cost breakdown of the bus and the build and everything. Starting from the top, we bought the bus from a Baptist church in Louisiana, which was great because it had not one speck of rust on the entire chassis or the frame or everything. So that was awesome. We paid $9,500 for the bus, test drove it, absolutely loved the space. So I'm 6'2" and I can stand up in here even on my tippy toes.
Yeah, that was important.
So we got it home, ripped everything out, and I believe we put $30,000 of material and solar and cables and everything. I think we're all in at about 30 grand plus the $9,500 cost of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Which brings us to a total of about $40,000.
Yep.
And to make money to build that, I am a full-time traveling musician and have been for about 3 years now.
And I work as a virtual assistant and travel agent, and I run a couple of social media pages. So everything that I do is remote. So basically our whole route is based on where we get gigs for this guy. And that's what we do. We travel around and play music and work remotely. Welcome to our bedroom. And it is literally just that. We did not use a lot of space for the bedroom, so it is basically the size of our RV queen mattress. But we did get uppers in here, which was a big deal because we have a ton of clothes. So we have my clothes storage up here on this side. And on the other side, we have Tyler's clothes storage, which is great. We love natural light. So the back door, leaving this was like one of the big things we wanted. And then this big window over here we kept. We did delete like a lot of them, but this was really important because when you roll up to that spot and you're looking at the ocean or the mountains and the view is just incredible, we can wake up to that, that's what it's all about. So yeah, we have our coffee right here, looking out at the great view. And yeah, we watch some TV in here, but yeah, it's just cozy and it's all we need.
All right, moving along to the garage, and if you see a bus or two in the background, just know we are at the bus fair here in beautiful Oak Ridge, Oregon. If you guys ever get a chance to come out, it's an awesome time. The weather's great networking tool for everybody that wants to come out and meet new friends and maybe explore this kind of lifestyle. But moving along to the garage, so I will say ahead of time that I kind of dominate this space because I have a lot of musical gear that has to travel with me. Have a suitcase full of cables, have my whole PA system right here, guitars. I think there's actually a mandolin tucked away somewhere under there. We got merch, signs, koozies, t-shirts, electrical cords, extension cords, all kinds of stuff. But everything that's under here that's not musical equipment we basically call it like the utility closet. So all of our batteries for our whole electrical system are housed under here. And I'm not sure how much was said about the solar setup earlier, but we have 4 200-watt panels on the roof, and they feed down to a Renogy 40A MPPT charge controller by Renogy. And then that goes to 4 200 amp hour lithium batteries that we have here under the bed. And that's all powered with a Renogy 3000 watt inverter charger that has the built-in transfer switch, which is super, super nice. Because if your batteries are ever low, we can just take our onboard generator under here, pull it out, charge the batteries up to full. So all that's housed under the passenger side. We have just random buckets for random leaks that everybody seems to have, some lighting, some tools, and then moving along to our water system, we actually have a 65-gallon freshwater tank that sits under the left side of the bus. And then from there, that goes to a water pump into our water system. And underneath the bus, we have a 45-gallon gray water system, as well as a 35-gallon, we call it a yellow system, but it's technically not black water, but the urine is diverted. Instead of having to go into like a little tank, it goes into a 30-gallon tank or a 35-gallon tank or so. So we usually empty it once every month. But yeah, we also have the Frigidaire air conditioner. It uses 500 peak watt. It's really nice, especially for a house this small. There's really no need for like a super extensive cooling or heating system. And then we also carry gasoline for the generator, as well as diesel for the diesel heater in the wintertime. So.
If you're on the fence about the nomadic lifestyle, I would say it's not as scary as it may seem to a new person coming into it. The main reason why I say that is because of the community, I guess. It's like no other. The people that we've met have just been so down to earth and genuine and would literally give you the shirts off their back. Like, they're always there for you. And the more you grow in the community, the better. So put yourself out there, go to Skoolie Palooza, go to the bus fair, which is where we're at. Meet everybody. Just make so many new friends because we are the type of people that's like half and half. We do like to have our alone time, but then whenever you do need some socialization and you want to see your friends, they're everywhere. Like, you can just hit them up on social media and be like, yo, I'm going through Washington. You want to meet up? And there's always somebody that's going to want to do that.
It truly does sound cliche, but at the same time, I honestly feel like it's the best advice that I can give anybody. We meet so many people, especially like older people, that say, oh, you know, I wish I could have done this when I was younger. Or there's never going to be the perfect time for you to do this, like, ever in your whole life.
Yeah.
There will always be like, I remember the day that I quit my full-time job, and it was the absolute scariest moment that I've ever had in my whole entire life. But I mean, it led us here, so. And
now we're happier than we've ever been. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, is this something we still want to be doing in 5 years? And honestly, we do not see an end in sight. Like, this is just a beautiful way of living. All right, guys. So thanks for watching our tour. If you do want to follow our journey, see what we're up to, what we're doing next, again, we are on Instagram at The Broken Compass Bus. That's our main platform where you will see our everyday living. We are starting a YouTube channel, The Broken Compass Bus, and we are also on TikTok.
And also, if you guys want to catch a show in the future, I am on all social media platforms as Tyler Doan Music. So maybe I'll see you at a brewery or a winery.
Yeah, come hang out.